The Toronto Real Estate Board just released the April numbers for 2025, and everyone's talking about sales being down by 23%. The average price is dropping by 4%. But here's what they're not saying. Prices are softer, options are better, and smart buyers are actually quietly making great deals. I don't think the market is as dead as you think it is out there. So here are the 6 things I'm looking at when I'm looking at these stats as well.
Look, I get it. The Toronto real estate market is confusing. Whether you're a new or experienced investor or just looking for a home to raise your family in, join us at Broadview Table Talks as we sit around the table with my friends to talk about the real estate and the ever-changing market in Toronto.
So number 1, yes, sales are down, but that's not the whole story. We know that transaction volume is down by 23.3% year over year. It's just 5,600 transactions throughout all the GTA and all the housing types in April. And that's quite a bit lower than where it was before. But it doesn't mean that all buyers aren't actually active. It just means that the buyers that are out there are being selective, patient, and strategic. If you have a home to sell and you want to market and you need to sell or you want to sell because you want to trade up, well, just be prepared and just don't chase the market down is all I'm saying. Number 2, inventory is up, and that's a win for buyers and maybe sellers if you're going to buy something else as well too. New listings are up by 8.1% with over 18,000 homes, maybe even close to 19,000 homes hitting the market. There's more choice and there's less pressure to do a deal like right now today. We're seeing fewer bidding wars out there and more properties are sitting longer. It just gives buyers a chance to negotiate. That is not a bad thing if you want to take your time and actually pick something. But the thing is, if you actually found the home that you love and it's rare and it's in a good neighborhood and maybe it's something really unique, those won't last long. Those are going to sell pretty quickly. Number 3, prices are softening, especially year over year. And yes, we know that. The average MLS home price index is down by 5.4% from last year in April 2024. The average price across all home types, well, we're still at 1.1 million, but it's down by 4.1%. And that might not seem like a huge crash and it's not a huge number, but it is a meaningful shift for buyers out there waiting for affordability. And like I said, if you're a buyer, take your time, like pick the right home that you want. In some neighborhoods, in like the top neighborhoods, in good areas, and depending on your budget and depending on what you're looking for, they still move pretty fast, especially at the entry level and even up to the higher end levels, the ones that don't come out often. But keep that in mind. It's not that every single home you can just kind of lowball, but you never know. And number 4, monthly affordability is finally improving. With a combination of lower home prices and you have stabilized interest rates or kind of somewhat lower interest rates, I guess. It just basically leads to lower borrowing costs. In the past, at the height of the interest rate hike cycle, it wasn't uncommon to have a mortgage rate of 6, 7, 8%. That was pretty high. Right now, we're down to about 4% for fixed rates and maybe about 4.2% for variable, depending on what you qualify for or what your lender gives you. And it's not the 2% rates or even the 1% rates that we saw in the past during the pandemic. But again, it's much better than the 8% that we were used to before. Lowers the payments, as you know. It's almost at a point where it almost makes sense to buy instead of rent, at least in the long run, because rents will only go up and your payments will pretty much stay fixed. And because the currency is getting diluted and your payments are still the same, 5 years from now, those payments will be a lot more affordable than they were today. And it's not only that the payments are better because rates are better, it also means that the qualifying rates are better too, right? Because you're qualifying the stress test. They check you based on 2% above what you actually qualify for on the fixed rates. So if that's coming down, that means you can afford more in terms of mortgages. It doesn't mean that you have to extend yourself to the very end, but for expensive markets like Toronto, that might have to be the option. Number 5, buyers are gaining negotiating power. We're seeing conditions come back for deals, financing clauses, inspection clauses, even longer closing periods, even sale of buyer properties. Like I haven't really seen that and they still don't really get accepted, but once in a while they do. That's a huge change from the fast-paced environments that we're used to for the past, 20 years or so. I don't know if you remember or not, but even coming with clean offers, that was like the bare minimum. You had to do that, but then I would have offers with blank closing dates. Just tell the seller, go pick your closing date. What a wild change. Now we're taking our time as buyers. And of course, there's gonna be a lot of lowballers out there and all those will get rejected, just like a Facebook marketplace or Kijiji. Like there's always gonna be lowballers out there. That's not what I'm saying to do. I'm just saying you now have a chance to catch your breath and take your time to actually put a proper offer in and do your proper due diligence. When the confidence returns, buyer confidence returns, I think whether it's through like lower rates or the economy gets better, jobs get better, maybe like the tariff stuff goes away. And now that our election campaign is all done, the buyer psychology will spike back and it usually comes back pretty quick, surprisingly. And it's always been that the real estate market is slow to fall, but quick to rise. Slow to fall because sellers don't really want to lose anything. Like the fear of losing out, the benefit of gaining something is not as important as the fear of losing losing something. That's why sellers hold on to the prices. Prices become sticky. But then when you're bidding up prices, they move up pretty fast because all of a sudden buyers just return quickly. This is what I've just noticed in the past 20 years of real estate investing and real estate transactions. If you wait for everyone else to jump right in, you probably could miss your chance to get into this market. And I'm not trying to create FOMO. It's just what I've seen. The long-term strategy in real estate is still pretty fundamentally strong. The demand drivers such as immigration and limited supply and decent economic growth anyway, not the best in Canada, but still decent. I think that's just going to be fundamentally strong for Canada. Like if you look at the US, how many different metros are there? Like 40 or so different like big cities. If you don't like going to, I don't know, New York, you can move to San Fran. If you don't like San Fran because of whatever's happening, you move to Texas. If not Texas, you go to Florida or like, you know, just people just move around all the time. Whereas in Canada, where are you really going to go? Like Toronto, Vancouver, maybe Montreal, but that's Quebec. Quebec has its own issues. And Calgary, which is seemingly pretty good with Alberta right now with everything that's going on. But there's really not much you can go to. I mean, sure, there's Halifax and a few other places, but like for the most part, it's Toronto, Vancouver. That's where the old money's at, and that's where the real money's at. I don't know. It's not like 40 different cities. It's only 2, maybe 3 cities here. This is a window, an opportunity to get in, to make your move if you want to. If it means jumping in as a first-time home buyer, or if it means trading up because you're selling low to buy low as well too, then jumping up that gap is actually better when you're moving on up. Or if you're a downsizer and you have this large home and if it's just your time to downsize and you really don't want to deal with all the issues of, you know, higher bills, or maybe it's a financial reason. There's people out there that are making downsizing moves even in this market, even though it's probably not the best time to do it. Just life doesn't stop at the end of the day. If you've been waiting for prices to cool or inventory to rise, this could be your opportunity. The market's a little bit different than where it was last year for sure, and definitely by a few months, a lot has changed actually. So let's talk about how you can make the numbers work for you before the market shifts beneath you. Give me a call, click down below to book an appointment, and talk to you soon.
Add it up.
Thanks for sticking out to the very end. I hope you got some value out of this. Do me a favor, please press like and subscribe, but more than anything, leave me some feedback so we know what to produce for you going forward. Thanks again.